Hello, Life Vantage. This is Darren Jensen coming to you live again from our, I would say, broadcast studios here. This is our media studio here in Salt Lake City, Utah at our global headquarters. And today is our first broadcast in our regular series of broadcasts each week. And today it's our doctor series with Dr. Gene DeLucia. Before we get to that, let me just remind everybody that we have our Elite Academy coming up in beautiful Orlando, Florida. That's November 2nd through the 4th. If you have not signed up for that yet, make sure that you sign up and get ready for that today. And because time's running out, so make sure that you get signed up and go online and do that. We'll also be giving away some of our tickets for the Elite Academy during this broadcast. Well, we'll draw afterwards, but if you'd like to be in the drawing, please just put down your name, your city, and state. So I see that Pam Miller just put down hers, saying Fort Lupton, Colorado. So great, Pam, you're now in the drawing. I see Jerry has his down. So make sure you put that in. Katie, I see that you put hello from Southern California. If you want to be in the drawing, make sure you put your city and your state. And if you happen to be out of the country, like if you're in Australia or if you're in Canada or the UK, wherever you might be, make sure and include the country that you're in. I also want to mention that I've been wearing different shirts each day. This is our Life Activated shirt. Hopefully you can see it. So Life Activated. And these shirts are available at our store. So you can either buy them in Orlando or you can also go right on and buy them online now. Okay, well, let's move on to our doctor series. Let me introduce Dr. Gene DeLucia. Before I start, let me just begin with the standard disclaimer of the statements you may hear today have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration, and any products that we talk about are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent disease. So Dr. DeLucia, for years, has discouraged or it's been teaching against the dependency on medication, though he prescribes it, obviously, when it is necessary. And as I spoke with him before, you know, that's a challenge with me, too. It seems like whenever I go to the doctor's office, I come out with a handful of pills, and for me, what I'm really looking at is what's the underlying cause of it, and that's really what I want to go for. And I think he shares those same beliefs. Dr. DeLucia's primary focus has been on preventative medicine, nutrition, exercise, anti-aging, and regenerative medicine. He's seen firsthand with his own patients the benefits of lifestyle change, leading his patients to less dependency on drugs with a significant focus on health and wellness. He's board certified in family medicine. He received his DO degree at Kent State University, and that was back in 1976. So his vast medical experience spans over 40 years, and he is in he has years at his Tampa Bay clinic, so he's in Tampa Bay, and it's affording him the opportunity of treating patients who have experienced various injuries, ailments, and diseases. He was on the original medical advisory board for Life Vantage Corporation, and with that, let me welcome Dr. DeLucia. Welcome. Glad to have you on our Facebook Live today.
Well, thank you.
Well, we're glad to have you with us. Let me just ask you the first question. So you're practicing in family medicine and, really focusing on, as you said here, preventative medicine, nutrition, exercise, anti-aging, and regenerative medicine. How did that lead up to you becoming part of Life Vantage?
Okay. Well, understand. Let me give you a little background. When I was a kid, my dad was a doctor. He was the country doctor. He did everything. My uncle was a doctor. I always wanted to be a doctor. I thought this is the best way I know to help people, and that's really what I wanted to do. But understand, when you go to medical school in this country, we're taught a couple of things. We're taught to diagnose disease, and we're taught years of that. And we're taught to treat a couple of ways. We can cut it out if we're surgeons and it's resectable, or we can give you medications for it, drugs. And unfortunately, the system does not teach us prevention. and it doesn't teach us nutrition. So the basis of your health is not really taught to the American doctor. When I give you a drug for your disease, it's unfortunately not there to cure your disease. As we age, we get chronic diseases. We get, doesn't matter what it is, diabetes, Alzheimer's disease, hypertension. They give you that medication for those diseases. We're not giving it to cure the disease. We're trying to control the process, the progress of that disease. So it truly is not a healthcare industry as much as it is a disease care industry. At first, I had a lot of fun in medicine. I was young. My patients were young. We were all healthy. If we hurt ourselves, and I did a lot of sports medicine also, so I'd have kids come in injured. We'd heal ourselves very quickly. We would feel better quickly. If you got something, a cold or a flu, you could get over that. But as we age, we started seeing more and more chronic diseases. And that is cellular damage, oxidative stress. That's when we start to see the aging process and the disease process. So as I started aging, I started not liking it. I was getting a lot of aches and pains. I was starting to have to take medications myself, blood pressure medicines, arthritis medicines, reflux medicine, and I didn't like it. I didn't like the aging, and I didn't like the disease process that I was putting Band-Aids on. Essentially, I was not curing anything. As my patient population aged, the same thing happened. I started giving them more and more medications. So I got very frustrated with it. Frustrated that I wasn't helping them enough, and it wasn't helping myself enough. That's when I started looking. I started looking years and years ago for other ways to do this, ways to maybe slow down that aging and the disease process a little bit. And years ago, I joined the A4M, the American Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine. We have several of our healthcare professionals in LifeVantage that belong to that. I like to think that's 21st century medicine, where we're looking beyond the endpoint, the disease, and look for the cause. And let's see if we can't prevent the disease, first of all, or at least get to the root of that disease and see if we can improve it that way. And 2010, I had two young guys show up in my office after several months of trying to get past my front office with a video. It was that ABC News video. That was Brian Cerulli and Fred Graves. They showed me that ABC News video, and I thought, wow, this fits in perfectly with what we're looking to do. So that's really how I became involved with LifeVantage. And from then and there, I just saw changes. It was a lot of fun to get into. It is a lot of fun.
Well, thank you for bringing us up to speed to show us how you got to where you're at now at LifeVantage. So looking at, well, first let me say to all those that are watching out there, if there are any specific questions you'd like me to pose to Dr. DeLucia, just put them here in the live comments section along the side. I'm keeping an eye on those right now. And I'll pose those, if it's going in line with, where the conversation is at the time. But yeah, so be sure and put any questions that are down there. Looking at at your bio, I see that you say that you discourage the dependency on medication. Can you kind of expand on that concept a little bit more for us?
Well, okay. As I said, as I aged and my patient population got older, they were getting more and more medications, and I was passing out more, and they'd come in for their specialists, and I'd have more. And some of them would come in with bags of 15 or 20 medications, and none of them were really reversing the process of disease or aging. So I really started looking around. When I saw NRF2 activation, I didn't know what that was. I saw that as a big, big breakthrough. I thought, wow, here's a way to reduce that oxidation in our cells, which is cellular damage and aging, and inflammation. And when I started seeing that process of reduction, because we are proven to lower oxidative stress by an average of 40% in 30 days, I started seeing, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. If I can reduce that inflammation, that oxidation, it stands to reason that people would get healthier. And I saw that myself. I started taking Protandim NRF2. That's all we had when I started. And I saw changes in myself. Eventually got off all my medications. And I saw that for many of my patients. So it literally changed the way I practice medicine. I got healthier patients, happier patients for sure. Because we're really getting to the root cause of all those diseases, which is oxidation, cellular damage, and inflammation. And that was fun. It is fun.
All right. Now, when you look at one of the questions that came through the comments was to kind of get your perspective on Protandim, but let me broaden that out a little bit. First, could you talk a little bit about how you see the LifeVantage products fitting into that role of maybe helping, I don't want to say preventative, but helping to improve better health overall? And then maybe if we could go from there, maybe we could begin talking about maybe the crucial role of the activated essentials, that bundling of products that we have. So first, kind of give us your idea, kind of your perspective on the LifeVantage products and how they work for overall health. And then we'll start talking about activated essentials.
Okay. Well, my first product we had was Protandim Nerve 2. That was our flagship product and is, and that's what I saw in 2010. So by lowering oxidative stress, and that's what we're clinically proven to do, lower oxidative stress by 40% in 30 days. Oxidative stress is cellular damage. That's why we age at the cellular level, but it also leaves us more and more open to diseases. As we age, as we get more cellular damage, we see more disease processes coming along with inflammation. That's really the basis of our aging and the basis of our disease processes. So if I could lower it, it stands to reason I'd want to do that. It's just common sense to me. So that's really what I saw first is wow, let's lower oxidative stress. Let's maybe hopefully slow down that damage and maybe even reverse some of that. That's what I was hoping. Our Protandim Nerve 1 is a mitochondrial activator. So understand that our mitochondria are our engines in our cells. That's the part of the cell that produces all our energy, just like your car engine does. You put fuel into your car engine, you put oxygen in, you get energy to run your car, to move it forward. You also get waste production. That waste production gets scrubbed out and cleaned up by your catalytic converter, and it's dumped out your exhaust. Well, in our cells, our mitochondria manufacture our engine, our energy. That is our engine in our cell. So when we do that and have those mitochondria produce energy, ATP, we get more energy to run our body, but we also get waste production, free radicals. And of course, the more energy you make, the more free radicals you're going to make. So one, I want to make a lot of energy, which is what Nerve 1 does, along with repair any damaged mitochondria and encourage our body to make new mitochondria. And that's really what Protandim NRF1 is doing. So as we age, we get more cellular damage, including damage to that mitochondria. It's hugely important, we've discovered recently, for brain health and a lot of other things, to have those mitochondria acting normally, enhancing the ability to make more energy, and also to encourage new mitochondria production. That's really the big deal. But when we do that and we start to manufacture more energy, we also make more free radicals. So that's where Protandim Nerve 2 comes in. It starts to counteract that free radical damage because we're producing more antioxidant enzymes, which is like our car's catalytic converter. It cleans up those free radicals and it eliminates them as waste. So I think those two things together are very, very important to both protect ourselves against damage, free radical damage, oxidation, inflammation, and to manufacture more of the good things, the mitochondria energy production, and things that go along with it. The probiotic that was, when it introduced, was a probio, is another thing that I think we're looking at recently, in recent years, as hugely important, because our intestines are the basis of our immune system. And so whatever goes into our body has to go through the intestines. If they are working normally, we can take out the good nutrition, keep the bad things in the intestine to be eliminated at the other end. So that's the ideal situation. When we are born in utero, and we're in the womb, we are sterile. There's no bacteria in our intestines. As we pass through that birth canal, we're inoculated with the mother's bacteria. And that really starts our own microbiome. So when we're born, we start to get inoculated with that microbia that are supposed to be in our intestines to help to do everything from digest to eliminate to detoxify our bodies. The babies that are born through C-section have already been shown to have more immune issues, more things like asthma. The enlightened obstetricians, if they do deliver a C-section baby, will actually take vaginal swabs and swab the baby with it. So it does get some of that mother's immunity of some of that mother's bacteria to start to grow its own. The reason why you feed the baby mother's milk is because its bacteria is just starting to grow in its intestines. It's not really made to digest anything else. So for the first 6 to 9 months of that baby's life, those bacteria are growing until they're mature enough to start to manufacture energy in other ways from the foods that we eat, not just mother's milk. So it's hugely important that, one, the baby gets that initial inoculation, and two, that the baby gets mother's milk. Things that I think we overlook a lot in Western cultures today. So to combine together, the ProBio that we have is designed to replace that good bacteria, because with time, the things that we do to our cells, we start to lose that good balance of bacteria, the good bacteria to the bad. And the good bacteria are there for a number of reasons. They are the basis of our immunity, because when we take in food, it's not sterile. So our body's stomach acid is there to kill out the bacteria, the bad things that we eat with our food. And then, of course, the good bacteria in the intestines, the small and large intestine, are there to digest, to assimilate, and to help start to take in the good nutrition before everything's eliminated at the other end. So they're really designed together. One, to balance our good bacteria, because that is our immune system. About 80% of our immunity is through our intestines, we've discovered, to keep out the bad things, and to and of course to make more energy production with NRF1 and eliminate the free radical damage with NRF2. So they're really made and designed to use together for better health. And I like to think that I would like to be able to live longer but healthier life. I don't want to be sick. I don't want to get old. So we were constantly looking for ways to do that. And I found LifeVantage to be tremendously helpful in all those things.
So I thank you for the explanation. And I was looking through the comments that were coming down in the live comments section. And one of the questions was, okay, so if I'm approaching a medical professional, are there any studies that you think that I should take with me that might be of a benefit? You know, when I talk to a medical professional, and I don't know if you have those off the top of your head that you could maybe tell us ones that you think might be a little better, or you know that might be very useful.
Well, the first thing when I approach a medical professional nowadays, and I did this this morning, I don't really tell them about NRF2, Protandim, or anything else, because they'll shut you off quickly. They're busy. They don't want to hear it from a lay person. They'll barely listen to another doctor. What I do, however, approach them and say, hey, this is what you signed up for. Are you happy with medicine today? They're not. They're very unhappy with where we're going in medicine. They're all becoming employees. The same thing that happened to pharmacy 20 years ago is happening in medicine. They get out of school with huge bills. They can't afford to open their own practices. They end up being an employee. So they're being told how to practice medicine, how many patients to see, what to do. It's become very cookbook medicine. They're not happy. So I really approach them from the standpoint of, hey, I found a way out. I want to show you something. I get tremendous attention that way. But as far as giving them a study, I like the first study. If you can show them a way to reduce oxidative stress, your doctor should know oxidative stress. He won't know NRF2 activation, or rarely do they know that. But they do understand oxidative stress as being a bad thing. So if you can show them very easily and quickly that we have something that will lower that significantly, I think they'll pay attention. So that's the first thing I'd like to show. There are others out there. I do refer them to nrf2science.com, and I also refer them to PubMed. So I don't carry a bunch of studies with me, though.
So if I just could recap, so if you're approaching another medical professional, one, you said typically they don't listen to lay people. Two, they'll hardly even listen to a physician. And so you position it more from the standpoint of are you happy with medicine today, as in kind of the working environment? Was that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. In fact,
Okay.
they did a poll. 89% of physicians would not recommend their children going into medicine today. That's
How many?
89%.
89. You know, I've got two of my children that are really wanting to get into medicine. One is moving down towards being a doctor, and I've got a daughter who's looking at wanting to start medicine. And you know, I've been interviewing quite a few doctors, and I'm hearing kind of the challenges that are facing the medical industry right now, and I tell them, boy, I don't know where I would recommend that, because they have a passion to help people, you know, and they love the medical field and the ability to help people. So I don't even know what to even advise them on that. And this is just a side thing, but where would you recommend if they wanted to get into medicine? Where do you see as the areas that may not be, I guess, so problematic, but still have the ability to help people?
I'll be a veterinarian. That's where it is today.
A veterinarian. That's, you know, I think people spend probably 10 times more on their pets than what they'd spend on themselves.
Question it. How much? Oh, but they'll question the $20 copay every time. So, no,
But
honestly,
really, a veterinarian, that's really interesting.
I would recommend strongly that they do what all of us do in LifeVantage. And I think that pretty much every physician in LifeVantage, like I said, we practice 21st century medicine. So do what we do. Look for, you can join A4M. You can look for doing things differently than we're taught in school. Keep learning. Learn more about nutrition. That's the basis of our health. Learn more about that prevention. Become a complementary alternative medicine physician. That's
I've seen some people here recommend integrative medicine. I saw one person, and you know, I've been trying to get in to see integrative doctors, and they have a waiting list that's months to get in.
Yeah, absolutely. They're becoming well known because they get results. They get word of mouth referrals a lot.
And we all know that word of mouth works, right?
That's great.
So now we've been making some announcements. So you've talked about basically our Activated Essentials bundle, which is Nerf 1, Nerf 2, and I wanted to say Pro Tandem, but it's not. Nerf 1, Nerf 2, and Pro Bio. So those three. Now we've made an announcement that we're coming out with Omega Plus, which is there's some unique things about the Omega 3 product that I don't think we've announced particularly yet, but I don't know if you're an expert or if you have much information on omega, the importance of omega 3s in your diet. Do you have anything like that you can comment on?
Sure, it's one of the things we recommend to everyone. There are a few other things we recommend, and that is one of them. There are a lot of studies out now. If you get on PubMed, you can start to see some of those studies out there for protection against many diseases, from everything from heart disease. It's an anti-inflammatory, very good anti-inflammatory. It's repair. Your body needs it for all kinds of things. And that good, healthy fatty acid is something our brain needs, our body needs. We can help prevent all kinds of things from Alzheimer's to cancers, all kinds of things. There's tons of studies out there. So I recommend Omega to everyone, along with some other things. But certainly along with our stack, our bundle, I put people on Omega also. Absolutely.
Wonderful. I'm just looking at our time, and you know, we typically keep these at about half an hour, and our half an hour is already done so quickly. So Dr. DeLucia, I guess just as a final question, what would you, are there any parting words of wisdom on the product or recommendations that you'd give? Because, you know, typically we get tens of thousands of people watching these videos, especially our doctors' videos. And this can be really on any subject, any final words or recommendations that we have not covered?
Well, let me talk a little bit, just for a few minutes, about our ProBio. It's very unique. We've always recommended probiotics because we do want that balance, a good balance of good bacteria, and not have the bad bacteria and the yeasts and all the other things that tend to overgrow. But ours is very unique. One, most probiotics people buy off the shelves, when you take it, your stomach acid kills it out. So less than 5% of most of that bacteria ends up where it's supposed to be, which is in our small and large intestine. So just any probiotic doesn't work. That's why I really liked when I saw this ProBio by LifeVantage, that it's coated so that it makes it past the stomach acid. It is then time released to get into the small and large intestine where it's supposed to be, and it has 6 different strains of bacteria that are the most beneficial ones for our body. And then on top of that, they added the patented Wellmune, which I really like because it's a stimulator of our immune system. So not only am I repairing and replacing the bad bacteria with the good, we're also being able to stimulate that immune booster, which I love. So it's like Dr. Chabot says, it's like having the little Pac-Man gobbling up the bad things. Well, this stimulates that production of more of your immune cells to start to gobble up the bad bacteria and the bad things in our gut. So it's hugely important that we take the right one. I think Physique ProBio is the best probiotic I've ever seen, with tremendous results, by the way. So I love those things by helping our bodies heal themselves, and where our bodies are made to do that. Our bodies are made to heal themselves. So if you let it. So if I hit my thumb with a hammer, what happens? Your body rushes a bunch of repair cells in there. The thumb swells up. 2 or 3 weeks, your body has repaired itself. If I smoke a cigarette, I damage my lung cells. My body goes in there and repairs that. If I eat bad food, the standard American diet, refined carbs and sugars and meats that are grain-fed and full of antibiotics and hormones and everything, that's damaging. It's inflammatory. My body will repair that. But if I hit my thumb with a hammer every day, my thumb's going to fall off. If I hammer myself every day with bad things, too much alcohol, very damaging to your brain cells and to your liver. Smoking cigarettes, hugely damaging. Eating the wrong foods, the standard American diet. We don't eat nearly enough plants. Plants, beans, high fiber things. That's what feeds our good bacteria, the prebiotics and the probiotics. That's through plants, not through refined flours and sugars, and not through grain-fed animals. So, there are a lot of ways to help ourselves. The basis of that is good nutrition. But now to start to boost that health by nutrigenomics, by using natural things, not drugs, to help our gene expression to a better level, that's huge. That, to me, is the future of medicine. That's 21st century medicine.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. And Dr. DeLucia, thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule. And I also want to thank everybody else for coming on and watching and taking time out of your schedule to join us today. Just as a reminder, we'll be giving away some free tickets to our Orlando Elite Academy. So if you have not had an opportunity, make sure in the live comment section that you put down your name, your city, and your state. We'll draw a number of those tickets a little bit later this week, and then we'll get in contact with you if you win. So again, name, city, and state. And again, Dr. DeLucia, thank you for joining us today, and it's always a pleasure to have you and all of our other incredible medical professionals join us on these broadcasts to share your wisdom and understanding about the products. So thank you. And thank you, everybody else. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Tomorrow, we move on to our Movers and Shakers series, and we have Marilee. I don't even know how to pronounce her last name. Dana, how do you pronounce her last name? Marriage? Marriage. I'll say Marilee Marriage. And tomorrow I'll know how to pronounce that better. But we'll have her on tomorrow for Movers and Shakers. Should be a great interview. Till then, we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, everyone. Bye.